The Aztec Empire, a Mesoamerican civilization that dominated central Mexico in the 14th to 16th centuries, stands out for its remarkable cultural, architectural, and military achievements. From humble beginnings, the Aztecs built a powerful empire that thrived until the arrival of Spanish conquistadors led to its dramatic collapse. The origins of the Aztecs trace back to their migration into the Valley of Mexico in the early 13th century. Known as the Mexica, they were part of the Nahua peoples who migrated southward from northern Mexico. According to their legends, they were guided by their god Huitzilopochtli to find a new home. After years of wandering, they saw a divine sign, a vision of an eagle perched on a cactus with a snake in its beak, which marked the location where they were to settle. This place, an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, would become Tenochtitlan, founded in 1325. The marshy terrain posed challenges, but the Aztecs transformed it into a thriving city using innovative engineering techniques. Tenochtitlan's construction was a feat of ingenuity and determination. The Aztecs built a network of causeways and canals to connect the city to the mainland and to manage the flow of water. They created chinampas, or floating gardens, which were highly productive agricultural plots made by piling mud from the lake bed onto woven mats. These chinampas provided a reliable food supply, supporting the city's growing population. The layout of Tenochtitlan reflected sophisticated urban planning, with wide avenues, marketplaces, temples, and palaces. The Templo Mayor, the central temple, became the focal point of religious and ceremonial life, dedicated to Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc, the rain god. The Aztec society was organized into a hierarchical structure with a central ruler, the Tlatoani, who wielded supreme authority. The nobility, or papilton, held significant power and privileges, controlling land and resources. Below them were the commoners, or macehuildin, who worked as farmers, artisans, and laborers. The lowest class included serfs, or tlacadin, and slaves, often prisoners of war or individuals who had fallen into debt. Each city and town was divided into calpulli, or clan-based communities, which served as the basic units of social organization. The calpulli managed local affairs, including education, land distribution, and religious ceremonies. This system fostered a sense of community and ensured efficient administration. The Aztecs initially lived under the dominance of the Tepanuc, a powerful neighboring tribe. In 1428, under the leadership of Izicotl, the fourth Tlatoani of Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs formed a strategic alliance with the city-states of Texcoco and Tlacopan. This coalition, known as the Triple Alliance, successfully overthrew the Tepanuc rulers and established Aztec dominance in the Valley of Mexico. The formation of the Triple Alliance marked a turning point in Aztec history, laying the foundation for rapid territorial expansion and the consolidation of power. Izicotl's reign set the stage for the Aztecs to transform from a tributary state into an empire. The rise of the Aztec Empire was characterized by aggressive military expansion. Under leaders such as Moctezuma I, Axayacatl, and Ahuitzotl, the Aztecs conducted numerous military campaigns to subjugate neighboring city-states and territories. The Aztec army was well organized and disciplined, utilizing strategies that combined brute force with psychological warfare. The empire's expansion was driven by the need for tribute and sacrificial victims, integral to Aztec religious practices. Conquered regions were required to pay tribute in the form of goods, labor, and captives. This system enriched Tenochtitlan and reinforced the Aztecs' dominance over a vast territory stretching from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. The tribute system was central to the Aztec economy and political control. Conquered territories were obligated to provide regular tributes of agricultural products, textiles, precious metals, and other goods. This influx of resources supported the capital's growth and enabled the Aztec elite to maintain their power. Markets, such as the Great Market of Tlatelolco, became bustling centers of trade where goods from across the empire were exchanged. The Aztec economy also benefited from the extensive use of chinampas, which allowed for intensive and sustainable agriculture. The tribute system and agricultural innovations contributed to the wealth and stability of the Aztec Empire. Religion played a central role in Aztec society, influencing every aspect of life, from politics to daily activities. The Aztecs practiced polytheism, worshipping a pantheon of gods associated with natural elements and human activities. Major deities included Huitzilopochtli, Tlaloc, and Quetzalcoatl. The Aztecs believed that human sacrifice was necessary to appease the gods and ensure the continuation of the world. Sacrificial rituals were performed on a grand scale, often involving prisoners captured during military campaigns. These rituals were conducted at major temples, such as the Templo Mayor, and were integral to Aztec religious and political life. The practice of human sacrifice instilled fear in subjugated peoples and reinforced the power of the Aztec elite. The Aztecs made significant contributions to various fields, leaving a rich cultural legacy. Their calendar system combined the solar and ritual cycles, guiding agricultural activities and religious ceremonies. The Tonalpahuli, or ritual calendar, consisted of 260 days, while the Xiuhpahuli, or solar calendar, had 365 days. Together, these calendars regulated the complex cycles of Aztec society. The Aztecs developed a writing system using pictographs and ideograms, allowing them to record historical events, tribute lists, and religious texts. Codices, or painted manuscripts, provide invaluable insights into Aztec culture and history. Aztec art and architecture were highly developed, with impressive structures such as the Templo Mayor showcasing their engineering prowess and religious devotion. The Aztecs also excelled in crafting jewelry, pottery, and textiles, often adorned with symbols reflecting their cosmology and beliefs. The Aztec Empire reached its zenith during the reigns of Ahuitzotl and Moctezuma II. Ahuitzotl expanded the empire's territory significantly, conducting successful military campaigns and consolidating control over conquered regions. His reign was marked by major infrastructure projects, including the construction of aqueducts and temples, enhancing Tenochtitlan's status as a powerful and sophisticated metropolis. Tenochtitlan became a bustling center of trade, culture, and politics, with a population estimated to be between 200,000 and 300,000 people. The city's markets, particularly the Great Market of Tlatelolco, were hubs of commercial activity where goods from all over the empire were exchanged. Moctezuma II, also known as Montezuma, presided over the empire during a period of both prosperity and growing tension. His rule was marked by grandiose building projects, elaborate ceremonies, and increased demands for tribute. Moctezuma II was a complex figure, known for his piety and scholarly interests as well as his authoritarian rule. He expanded the empire's territory further and sought to consolidate his power by centralizing authority and suppressing dissent. However, his reign also saw rising discontent among subjugated peoples, who were burdened by heavy tributes and the constant threat of Aztec military campaigns. These internal tensions, combined with the rigid social hierarchy and the harsh treatment of conquered peoples, created underlying instability within the empire. The arrival of Spanish conquistadors in the early 16th century marked the beginning of the end for the Aztec Empire. In 1519, Hernán Cortés, leading an expedition of around 600 men, landed on the eastern coast of Mexico. Cortés quickly learned of the wealth and power of the Aztec Empire and set his sights on Tenochtitlan. He formed alliances with indigenous groups who were hostile to the Aztecs, exploiting existing animosities and grievances. These alliances provided him with additional forces and crucial local knowledge. The Spanish also had technological advantages, including firearms, steel weapons, and horses, which gave them a significant edge in battles. Moctezuma II initially attempted to placate the Spanish by sending gifts of gold and offering them hospitality in Tenochtitlan. However, tensions escalated as the Spanish demands grew, and Cortés eventually took Moctezuma hostage in his own palace. This act further destabilized the Aztec capital and eroded Moctezuma's authority. The Aztecs were divided in their response to the Spanish presence. While some saw the newcomers as potential allies or even as divine beings fulfilling ancient prophecies, others recognized the threat they posed. The tension within the empire only increased as Cortés maneuvered to consolidate his power. In 1520, while Cortés was away dealing with a Spanish expedition sent to arrest him, the Aztecs rose in revolt against the Spanish presence. Pedro de Alvarado, left in charge by Cortés, ordered a massacre during a religious festival, inciting further outrage. Upon his return, Cortés found the situation in Tenochtitlan deteriorating rapidly. The Spanish and their indigenous allies faced fierce resistance as they tried to maintain control over the city. In June 1520, during the Noche Triste, Sad Night, the Spanish attempted to flee Tenochtitlan but were attacked by the Aztecs, suffering heavy casualties. Despite this setback, Cortés regrouped, gathered more allies, and launched a siege on Tenochtitlan in May 1521. The siege of Tenochtitlan lasted for several months, with the Spanish and their allies cutting off the city's supplies and systematically destroying its infrastructure. The Aztecs, weakened by starvation, disease, and continuous assaults, fought valiantly but were ultimately overwhelmed. On August 13, 1521, Tenochtitlan fell, marking the end of the Aztec Empire. The fall of the city was a catastrophic event, resulting in immense loss of life and the destruction of the Aztec civilization's political and cultural center. Several factors contributed to the fall of the Aztec Empire. The Spanish had technological and tactical advantages, including firearms, steel weapons, and cavalry. Their ability to forge alliances with discontented indigenous groups, such as the Tlaxcalans, provided them with crucial support and manpower. Disease played a devastating role in the downfall of the Aztecs. European diseases, particularly smallpox, to which the indigenous population had no immunity, spread rapidly and decimated the population. The outbreak of smallpox during the siege of Tenochtitlan killed thousands, including the Emperor Cuitlahuac, who had succeeded Moctezuma II. Internal divisions within the Aztec Empire also weakened their resistance. The harsh tribute system and the practice of human sacrifice had created resentment among subjugated peoples, making them more likely to support the Spanish against their Aztec overlords. Additionally, the rigid social hierarchy and centralized power structure left the empire vulnerable to external threats and internal dissent. The psychological impact of the Spanish conquest cannot be overlooked. The Aztecs, who believed in a cyclical concept of time and the possibility of divine intervention, were initially unsure how to interpret the arrival of the Spaniards. Some saw them as gods or emissaries of gods, leading to hesitation and miscalculation in their response. The fall of the Aztec Empire marked the beginning of Spanish colonization in Mexico. The Spanish systematically dismantled Aztec institutions, imposed Christianity, and exploited the region's resources. Tenochtitlan was destroyed and rebuilt as Mexico City, which became the capital of New Spain. Despite the destruction of their empire, the legacy of the Aztecs endures. Their cultural, scientific, and artistic achievements continue to be studied and admired. The surviving codices, archaeological sites, and artifacts provide invaluable insights into their civilization. Modern Mexico retains strong cultural connections to its Aztec heritage, visible in its art, literature, and national identity. The story of the Aztec Empire is a testament to the complexity of human societies, the interplay of power and culture, and the impact of external forces on indigenous civilizations. It is a narrative of remarkable rise, dramatic fall, and enduring influence, reflecting the resilience and creativity of the Aztec people.